This morning, you scrubbed yourself clean. Soap, warm water, a toothbrush. You did it half asleep, without a single thought. It felt like the most basic thing in the world. Now, picture a caveman. Filthy, smelly, miserable, right? Almost everything you just imagined is wrong, because staying clean is not a modern invention. It is older than soap, older than cities. It is older than writing itself. For thousands of years, people kept themselves clean, with none of the things sitting in your bathroom. So how on earth did they do it? The answer is stranger and cleaner than you think. Let's kill the biggest myth first, the smell. Yes, ancient people smelled like people. But here's the thing, so did everyone else. Your nose is built to ignore constant smells. It only fires an alarm when something changes. In a world where everyone smelled, nobody smelled. Honestly, same. I'd stop noticing too. The stink was never really the problem. But there was one tiny enemy everyone shared, lice. So humans built a weapon for it, the comb. Rows of fine teeth to drag out lice and their eggs. We've found these combs on nearly every continent. Some are thousands of years old, teeth worn smooth. Grooming wasn't optional. It was a daily war. A war you won so completely you forgot it happened. Now let's go back, way back. Over 4,000 years ago, in the Indus Valley, there was a city called Mohenjo-daro, and it had something that should not exist yet. Plumbing. Covered drains ran along the streets. Many homes had their own private bathing area. Dirty water flowed out through clay pipes. At the center sat a giant public pool. We call it the Great Bath. It was watertight, sealed with tar. Think about that for a second. Cleanliness was built into the city itself. 4,000 years ago, they had better drains than parts of the world today. Nearly every house had its own private well. Fresh water on tap in the Bronze Age. And the Great Bath wasn't only for washing. It was likely for ritual cleansing too. Body and spirit cleaned in the same water. Meanwhile, in ancient Egypt, cleanliness was holy. Priests didn't just wash, they were obsessed. They bathed multiple times, every single day. Cold water at dawn, cold water at night. They shaved their entire bodies. Hair was seen as dirty and unholy. But they had no soap. So what did they use? Natron, a natural salt scooped straight from dry lake beds. It cleaned skin, cloth, and even preserved the dead. Same stuff that mummified pharaohs scrubbed their armpits. Then they slathered on scented oils, not for luxury, for their skin in a brutal desert sun. Clean, shaved, and oiled. In the Bronze Age. They even fought bad breath, chewing balls of honey, cinnamon, and myrrh. The first breath mints 5,000 years ago. And that famous black eye makeup, kohl, it wasn't only for looks. It cut the desert glare and fought eye infections. Ancient style was often ancient medicine. But most people were not priests or kings. Regular humans used what the ground gave them. Sand, ash, clay, all rough enough to scrub off grime. But ash, it a secret, makes wood ash with water and you get lye. Add animal fat to lye and boil it, and something magical happens. The mixture turns into soap. Humans invented soap almost by accident. The oldest proof of it is written in clay, a tablet from Babylon, around 2800 BC. It describes fats boiled with ashes, the oldest soap recipe we've ever found. But here's the twist you won't expect. For a long time, soap wasn't for washing bodies. It was for cleaning cloth and treating wounds. Rubbing soap on your skin came much, much later. Cleanliness got so important it turned sacred. Across the ancient world, washing became a ritual. You cleaned your hands and face before you prayed. Nobody knew germs existed. Nobody could. But the instinct was right anyway. Ritual washing quietly killed germs for thousands of years. They were right for the wrong reason. Then the Greeks turned cleaning into a lifestyle. Every city had a gymnasium. Men trained, wrestled, and ran there, covered head to toe in dust and sweat. There were no showers. So here's the trick again. Coat the whole body in olive oil. The oil binds to dust, sweat, and dead skin. Then drag it all off with a strigil. A curved bronze scraper pulled down the skin. Oil, grime, and skin peel away in one smooth pass. No suds, just oil and physics.
The used oil scraped off stars was even sold as medicine, but nobody did clean like the Romans. They built massive public baths in every city, fed by aqueducts stretching for miles and heated by fires under the floor. Cleaning wasn't a chore, it was a night out. You'd sweat in a scorching hot room, then shock yourself in an icy cold pool, then get oiled and scraped down clean. People gossiped, ate, and closed business deals there. The baths were the social network of the ancient world. But their toilets, that's a different story. Public toilets were long stone benches, side by side. No stalls, no privacy. You chatted with your neighbor. And to wipe, they shared a sponge on a stick. A communal sponge on a stick, rinsed in water and passed to the next person. Yeah, let's just quietly appreciate toilet paper. And the Romans turned cleaning into an industry. They collected urine from pots in the streets. There was literally a tax on it. Laundries called fullers used it to wash wool. The ammonia stripped grease right out of the fabric. Your toga was cleaned in fermented pee. And all the city's waste flushed through a giant sewer, the Cloaca Maxima. Parts of it still work today. So yes, Roman clean had a certain aroma. Okay, but surely their teeth were rotten, right? Wrong again, and this one really stings. They had a toothbrush. It was a twig. Fray one end until it splits into soft bristles, then rub it across your teeth. Some of these sticks were naturally antibacterial. They fought the bacteria that caused decay. People still use them today, and dentists approve. They even had toothpaste, ground eggshells, ashes, crushed ox hooves. A bit gritty, but it scrubbed teeth white. Their diet had no sugar to rot the enamel, so ancient teeth were often cleaner than yours. Let that one sit for a moment. Now for the part that will make you wince. The Romans whitened their teeth with urine. The ammonia in stale urine is a real bleaching agent. It genuinely worked. It just also, was urine. The best imported urine came from Portugal. Hard pass from me, but respect the commitment. Of course, cleaning only gets you so far, so ancient people also learned to mask the rest. Egyptians burned incense they called kifi. They wore cones of scented fat on their heads. It slowly melted, releasing perfume all night. Others rubbed on crushed flowers, herbs, and spices. Perfume wasn't vanity. It was ancient deodorant. Real deodorant, as we know it, is barely 100 years old. For everything before that, they got creative. But then something strange happened. For a while, medieval Europe kept bathing. Public bathhouses were everywhere. They were social hubs. People bathed, drank, and gathered there. Then the plague swept across the continent, and a terrifying new idea took hold. Doctors believed disease slipped in through open pores. Hot water, they thought, opened you up to death, so people simply stopped washing. For centuries, bathing was seen as dangerous. Instead, they cleaned with dry linen shirts. Change your shirt, dab on perfume, call it clean. Here's the wild part. Ancient Romans were often cleaner than European kings. We didn't march forward, we fell backward. And through all of it, soap stayed rare. For most of history, it was a luxury good, heavily taxed and far too expensive for the poor. Clean skin was quietly a sign of wealth. Soap only turned cheap in the last 200 years. Mass production finally put a bar in every home. The thing melting in your shower right now was once worth a small fortune. It took a horror story to fix it. In the 1840s, hospitals were death traps. Doctors went from dissecting the dead to delivering babies without ever washing their hands. A doctor named Ignaz Semmelweis noticed the pattern. In 1847, he told doctors to wash their hands. Deaths on his ward collapsed almost overnight. And here's the tragic part. Nobody believed him. They mocked him. He was pushed out and died disgraced. Years later, Pasteur and Lister proved him right. Germs were real, and washing killed them. The simple act your ancestors did on instinct finally had a name. Hygiene, which brings us all the way back to you. Because now, we might be too clean. Your body is not a sterile surface. It's home to trillions of helpful microbes.
They protect your skin and train your immune system. In 1989, a scientist named David Strachan noticed something. Kids raised in cleaner homes had more allergies.
It's called the hygiene hypothesis. Too clean, too soon, and the immune system gets bored. It starts attacking harmless things like pollen. Harsh antibacterial soaps can strip the good microbes too. Take your hair, for example. Daily shampoo is barely a century old. Wash it too often, and you strip its natural oils. So your scalp panics and pumps out even more. The more you wash, the greasier you get. And that armpit smell? It isn't the sweat. Fresh sweat is almost completely odorless. Bacteria eat it, and that is what actually smells. You're not fighting dirt, you're farming microbes. Congratulations, your armpit is a tiny zoo. We spent centuries relearning how to be clean, and then we sprinted straight past the finish line. So here's what this whole story is really about. Staying clean was never vanity, it was survival. Dirt carries disease, open wounds get infected. The humans who stayed cleaner simply lived longer. And that instinct is still wired into you. That gut level, ugh, when you see filth, that is ancient survival software still running. You flinch at rot because your ancestors who didn't died. So here's the full picture. Drains in the Indus, Natron in Egypt, oil and scrapers in Greece and Rome, chew sticks, incense, and boiled fat. For thousands of years, people stayed clean, using nothing but what the world handed them. They read their own bodies like a language. Then, slowly, we traded all of it away. We traded knowing our bodies for a shelf of bottles. We got convenience. We lost the instinct. This morning, you scrubbed yourself clean. Your ancestors would honestly be impressed and a little confused why it took a whole aisle, because you were always built to stay clean. You just used to know how. If this changed how you'll see your bathroom tomorrow, stick around. There's a lot more your body remembers.